I now invite the Honourable Adams.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Colleagues, the Progressive Caucus. Minister, it was a very interesting speech of yours. And I thought that I was amongst many people who believed that once we removed Angie Moshega from education, everything would be okay. Today you've come here and proved that this is certainly not the case. You have mentioned the fortitude of these children, Minister, who have suffered the indignity of using pit latrines at school, who have suffered the dangers of bullets walking to school and back, who have gone to school on hungry stomachs, but you've not mentioned the solution. You've not said a word about next year's class of 2025, which will go through the same things. 165,000 people write Matric this year, but we've not mentioned the 800,000 who've fallen through the cracks. This GNU does not care about them. You've not, Minister, once mentioned that the disparities in education will no longer be cemented amongst racial lines. Minister, a Matric certificate is not the end of it for a young boy of color. We understand that if your name is Steenhuisen, you can have presidential aspirations in this country just by having a Matric. For the rest of us, that's not the case. Minister, we hope.
You also have not changed yourself.
We hope and we pray, Minister, that you will do better than your predecessor. Unfortunately, this speech gives us no hope of that. Thank you.
The next speaker on the list that I have here is the speaker from the ANC, Honourable Lowe.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Over the past 30 years, the African National Congress has placed education as an apex priority to empower its people, particularly the marginalized. We inherited a basic education system that entrenched inequality with a sharp distinction between rural townships schools compared to former model schools in urban areas. Today, without any fear of contradictions, we affirm that a child in a rural area or township can be best performing learner in the country. Rural and township schools are among the best performing equipped with expanded infrastructure, libraries and computer labs. 80% of our rural schools have got their metrics to have increased in the past financial years. We have built more than thousands of classrooms during 2023-2024, and then we'll also make sure that we train thousands of school of teachers in making sure that they specialize in certain educations to advance learners of special needs. There's a testament to the concerted efforts to the democratic government to provide South Africans with equal opportunities, unleashing their human potential to improve their living conditions and that of the nation. The success of a learner is no longer determined by their school quintiles. This is a promise made by the African National Congress, which has historically pioneered scholarship amongst oppressed black people. Education continues to receive the highest budget allocation, both nationally and provincially. The class of 2024 is particularly special, having been impacted by COVID-19, which resulted in learning losses. Despite the challenges, the department and its teachers have impacted curriculum recovery plan to close the gap. We commend our learners for their commitment to adapting to learning during one of the most difficult periods. We also welcome government progress in addressing load shedding, which has the potential to negatively impact learners' preparations. We also command the department to collaborate with the municipalities to deal with low reductions of electricities. As the ANC, we urge all South Africans to contribute to creating a conducive environment for our children and learners to focus on their examination and schooling. It is our collective duty to ensure that our schools are safe, working with SAPs and other stakeholders, fostering communities that protect learners. Together we can tackle issues such as bullying, substance abuse, and the sale of counterfeit foods that endanger our children's health. The ANC wishes to extend its condolences to the families and communities mourning the loss of children due to the poisonous food. We call on law enforcement agencies to intensify investigation and arrest those producers and sellers with immediate effect. They must not waste time. They must arrest them and they must rot in jail. We have received a report on the state of readiness for the 2024 Matric examination. With Umalusi, let us confirm that they are satisfied with the examination process, assessment, and support of markers. We urge the public to refrain from spreading misinformation such as alleged mathematics paper on social media. We should uphold the integrity of our examination system as is crucial, and we must discourage any involvement of copying or cheating by our learners. We must encourage them to study hard. We believe this generation holds immense promise to our national future. Today's learners have grown up in the digital age, and as we introduce coding and robotics in our education system, we must remember that innovation will shape our future. We should encourage our children to pursue science, mathematics, and technology, which is your STEM subjects, enabling them to contribute to technological innovation and participate in the digital economy. The generation must lead the way in driving domestic internationalization and the beneficiation of our mineral resources. As we celebrate our day of examinations, we recognize the efficiency of the system, department officials, and schools management in ensuring smooth examination process. We wish over 880,000 full-time and part-time learners across 6,909 examination centers the best of luck. As the ANC will stand firmly on the side of the workers, we will ensure that the teachers' posts are provisioned in line with norms and standards, providing quality educations, particularly those from previously marginalized schools. There will never be budget cuts or school teachers' cuts in post at Western Cape. Thank you.
I now call the Honourable Minister of Basic Education to conclude the statement.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker, and thank you very much to the members who have wished our class of 2024 well. Really, I do believe that it is probably heartwarming for them to hear their leaders wishing them well. I also wish to thank some of the constructive feedback and contributions that we've received from members during this period. Although some were less than constructive, I suppose that's the nature of the game. Honourable Strongwe would know that there is no school too far or district too remote for me to ever visit. In fact, I have been conducting provincial visits across the country, having covered 7 out of the 9 provinces, as I indicated. And so the notion somehow that my account of the schooling system and the education system is somewhat shielded and is only really myopic couldn't be further from the truth. But I also understand that if I didn't have anything constructive to say, I would probably also stoop to such low attempts. Honourable Mashabela is absolutely correct that there are a number of issues that are dogging our system, things like scholar transport, issues like the school nutrition program, and of course these things must be fixed. And I've always indicated to members of this House that mine is not to sugarcoat the reality of the system to you. Mine is to give you a real account of what the system is about and what it is that we will do to fix it. So I'm not here to tell stories that will make you feel better at night. I'm here to tell you the real harsh realities of what we are facing. South Africa is in deep financial trouble, and provincial departments are struggling to make ends meet to cover some of the obligations that they have. Therefore, difficult choices often have to be made. This is not something that we take pride in, but it's something to say that, well, members and leaders in South Africa understand that this is what we are dealing with. So yes, there are problems when it means that 6-year-olds can have to walk more than 2 kilometers to get to school, because the national policy indicates that you will only provide children with scholar transport up to when they have to walk 5 kilometers. Would it suit me if every single child who needed scholar transport had scholar transport? Absolutely. But is that possible within the fiscal environment that we operate in? No. But these are things that we are aware of, and these are things that we are working hard to address. And my plea with members is that we must be able to hold two truths at the same time. One, the challenges that exist. Two, the fact that there are efforts in place to address them. I think it's not useful to be simplistic in our way of looking at our problems in South Africa. Infrastructure remains an Achilles heel for the Department of Basic Education. This is why it has been a priority of mine for this term, to make sure that no provincial department sends money back to Treasury for not having spent all of the infrastructure budget. It is absolutely unacceptable considering the fact that we still have 241 pit latrines in South Africa that need to be eradicated by March of 2025. And we still have inappropriate infrastructure in places around this country that needs to be eradicated. But provinces have assured me that it is their priority to make sure that they spend infrastructure budgets and they spend them well. And lastly, I want to deal with the issue around the system. A number of members, I think Honorable Zibi, Honorable Webster, a number of members raised the issue around the health of the system. And I want to agree, members, that matric exams cannot be the sole marker of success of an education system. Today, the priority of today was to update you on our readiness on the NSC exams. However, the NSC exams can't just simply be the only marker. If an education system is to be successful, it has to be continuous. We have to strengthen early learning from a very young age, and that is why ECD has been absorbed within DBE. We have to make sure that we strengthen the ECD, we have to make sure that we strengthen grade R, and we have to make sure that systematically we stress test the system to make sure that learners stay longer in school. That's the overview and the strategy of making sure you develop a comprehensive and well-articulated education system. Of course, we must celebrate the successes of our matric learners, but it's not the be-all and the end-all. And my commitment in my term is simply this, that we're going to make sure that the system is healthy at all levels, whether it is at a foundation level, whether it is at intermediate level, or whether it is at the further education and training level. It's important that every single child who walks into a school gets quality education regardless of where they come from until they leave the school premises. And on the issue around the throughput rate that some members have raised, I think it's also important, members, that we don't play fast and loose with numbers. There are not 160,000 learners who are writing exams. But nonetheless, the point I'm trying to simply make is that no system will ever have 100% throughput rate from grade R to grade 12, because along the way, learners move, along the way, learners leave grade 9 and go to FET colleges and FET institutions to go and pursue an alternative way of finishing off their school. And so that is also what affects your throughput rate. But be that as it may, we as a department need to be able to make sure that we track every single learner. That if you ask me at any given time how many learners started in grade R and finished in grade 12 and how many went where, we should be able to give you that number. So my assurance is that this is not just the only piece de resistance of the education system. Really, the effort is to make sure that investment is right from grade R all the way to grade 12, and we do that whether you are from Kwakwam, Kanduli or Sandton. It should not matter where you come from. My undertaking
Minister,
is that our education system, and we will get it right, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Honourable members, that concludes party responses to the statement.
If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.